Hello, this is Opinion Radar, and welcome back to our little corner of honest, mom to mom reviews. If you're anything like me, juggling work, home, and a curious kid who's always asking, can we do something fun? You know how hard it can be to find activities that are actually engaging, not messy, and don't involve another screen. That's why I wanted to try the Taba Squishy Kit, a DIY craft set that promises your child can make their very own squishy toys from scratch. Priced at $23, it's not just a toy, it's an experience, one that claims to blend creativity, sensory play, and a touch of science. I was intrigued by the idea of making something tangible together, especially if it could hold my daughter's attention for more than 10 minutes. So we dove in with open minds and slightly nervous hands. Would this be a creative hit or a gooey mess? What followed was more meaningful than I expected. And today I'm sharing every squeeze of the journey with you. Let me tell you, as a mom who's always on the hunt for creative, screen-free activities for my daughter, the Taba Squishy Kit has been such a fun surprise. When we first opened the box, I wasn't sure what to expect. There's a lot in there, but the setup felt instantly doable. Everything you need is right in the kit. The molds, the silicone bottles, the mixing cups, the stirring sticks, the flocking powder. Seriously, I didn't have to scramble around the house looking for extra supplies. The instructions were clear and simple. Thank goodness, because as any busy mom knows, the last thing we need is complicated steps after a long day. We did the whole thing at our kitchen table one weekend afternoon, and it was such a nice bonding moment. My daughter loved being in charge of pouring and stirring with supervision, of course, and I loved that she was fully engaged without even glancing at her tablet. One of the things I was most impressed by is how the final product actually turns out just like the photos. Smooth, squishy, and super satisfying to play with. We made the cheese-shaped one first, which my daughter found hilarious because it looks like a snack, but you can't bite it. She laughed the whole time. But more than just being cute, it's got this perfect texture. It's soft, stretches a little, and gives that lovely slow rebound when you press down. You can really feel the quality in how it holds up. And bonus, you don't just make one squishy. You can make several using the reusable mold. That was a huge plus for us because my daughter wanted to make one for each of her stuffed animals as pets. The idea that we could customize something together, rather than just buying a pre-made toy, made it feel extra special. Now, I'll be honest, there were a couple of hiccups, but nothing anyone can't handle with a little prep. We didn't have the tiny scale the instructions recommended, but the guide also gives cup measurements, so we used that instead and it worked out just fine. No science experiment disasters here. However, I did want to mention that the silicone bottles can be a bit finicky. If they're not sealed well or stored laid down, they might leak. After a few days of being unused, we found a little silicone seeped out and got into the box, even though we had screwed the caps on tight. Nothing ruined, thank goodness, but I'd definitely suggest storing the bottles upright and maybe even in a small container in case of spills. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but worth knowing if you plan to take breaks between steps or pack it up for later. What makes this kit really stand out, in my opinion, is the customization. After the squishy cures, you get to decide how it feels: super sticky, slightly tacky, or smooth and fluffy. My daughter was obsessed with the flocking powder. She would add a little at a time until it had the perfect soft texture, like a tiny stuffed animal. It's genius, really. You can make it exactly how your child likes it. I've seen squishies in stores that cost $5 each, and they don't even offer that level of personal control. Here, for $23, you're getting supplies to make multiple squishies, and you can experiment with textures and shapes. It keeps the kids engaged way longer than just handing them a finished toy. It's part craft, part science, part sensory play, all wrapped into one. That said, not everything was perfect. We were super excited about one of the molds shown on the packaging, the adorable cat paw, and were disappointed when we realized it wasn't in our kit. Instead, we got two cheese molds. It was a little deflating after building it up in our heads as the main attraction. I know molds can vary by batch, but if you're like us and really had your heart set on a specific shape, that might be a letdown. Still, we made the best of it, and honestly, the cheese got just as much love. But if you're buying it specifically for a certain mold, maybe double check what comes in the kit or reach out to the seller beforehand. It's a small issue, but one that stung a little in the moment. The sturdiness of the final squishy has been impressive so far. We've had ours for a few weeks now, and it's been tossed around, kept in pockets, and even survived an accidental trip through the washing machine. Don't ask Mom Brain. It still holds its shape and hasn't torn or dried out. That said, it does pick up lint and dust easily, especially if you go the non-flocked, stickier route. If you don't want a fuzzy little dust magnet, I'd recommend the flocking or storing it in a sealed bag when not in use. My daughter learned the hard way when her squishy came out of her backpack covered in glitter and hair. It's not exactly easy to clean, so a little care goes a long way. But honestly, for a toy that's meant to be played with and loved, it's held up better than I expected. Overall, I'd say this was a really worthwhile purchase, not just as a toy, but as a quality activity. It gave us a whole afternoon of fun, creativity, and even a tiny bit of science talk when we mixed the liquids together and watched them start to rise. My daughter was so proud when her squishy cured and she could hold her very own creation. It sparked conversations, imagination, and even inspired her to make a little squishy world with a box and craft paper. For the price, the entertainment value is through the roof. Yes, there are a few flaws, the mold mix up, the potential for leaks, but they're small compared to how much joy this kit brought us. If you're looking for a hands-on, imaginative, and screen-free way to spend time with your child, I can't recommend the Taba Squishy Kit enough. It's messy in the best possible way, and the memories we made while making it, those are the real treasure. If you're ready to squish the boredom and spark some hands-on fun with your little one, give the Taba Squishy Kit a try. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more Chinju friendly pics. Let's make messy memories together, one squish at a time. Your next family adventure starts right here.